Engage. Welcome.
Hello, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram users. This is F.A.N.G. Don't mind the noise. I'm driving right now. I'm actually heading home for lunch. So this is something I've been wanting to do for a good while now because I have not done this in a long time. Everybody, this is Burning the Salt podcast. Now, it's been a while since I did one, so I don't remember what number this is. And if you really listen to the last one, I probably said the same thing because I do not remember what that number was either. But it's going to be a quick little one because I want to talk about a quick little subject that's been coming up as of late. The state of the tournament scenes. Right now, the last time we spoke, I believe I was talking to you guys about there was a lot of tournaments going around and happening, and I even read an article about a controller issue for a GameCube because a player didn't want to continue because it wasn't malfunctioning properly. I think that was the last one I did, but since then a lot has changed. And when I say a lot, of course we all know what's going on. Well, we all know what's happened, but I wanted to talk about because of that happening. So if you guys remember, there was a time where we used to have tournaments nearly almost every weekend, whether it be a local or at least once a month you would have like a monthly, and then probably once a year you have like a regional from a different city, and you would see all these players travel around and have these events and compete. That was fun. The last one that I did before the crap hit the fan was in 2019. It was in December, and it was for a Jazzy Circuit event at Game Guy's warehouse. The event, it was a little stressful at the time to do the event. Reason being is because I was sick at the time, and I believe that might have been kind of hard to say now because it happened so long ago. I think I had COVID back then without anybody knowing what it was yet. And quite honestly, it's been very, scary to think about it since then. But that's neither here or there. Well, anyway, on that event, I actually had the Street Fighter 3 30th anniversary. Street Fighter 30th anniversary collection, which had all these ROM ports of the arcade games from Street Fighter, being from whether it be Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Turbo, or whatever, Super Turbo 2, Omega Edition. I can't remember all the names off the top of my head, but there were three ports that stood out to me. It was Street Fighter Hyper Fighting, Alpha 3, and last but certainly not least, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Now, Third Strike was the game that I did the anniversary edition on. Not the anniversary edition. Third Strike was the game that I did the tournament on. And when we did the tournament, there were some minor issues with a lot of the equipment. And I'm not gonna lie, it was because of the venue. It wasn't really the fault of the actual equipment, but it was the fault of like how everything was laid out. And we didn't have enough power to do what we wanted to do. I remember taking my desktop computer over there so that way I could have my strongest software on there, and it just kept getting a red screen, I should say, of death, which I've never seen on my computer before. So, all in all, it was horrible, and I since stopped doing tournaments, thinking, okay, by the time I'm done with school, I'll go back to doing tournaments again, and everything will be better. Well, March 2020 happened, and a lot of this stuff went down, and unfortunately, all the tournaments stopped in the offline environment. A lot of events were getting canceled, or rescheduled, or just flat out not happening anymore. And because of that happening, a lot of people tend to go back into playing their video games again. And a lot of the people that did not have video games in the past bought a whole bunch of consoles. Since that time, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X has come out. And and everyone's been buying them up, and everyone's been having a hard time finding these dang things. So we're now in 2022. Tournaments are starting to come back again, of course, with COVID regulations, and you have to have either your vaccines or your vaccine card to prove that you were at least taken care of, or at least get tested beforehand. And it was a different time. Like, I will say this, we thought what we were going through before all the old COVID stuff happened, that was going to be the norm for the rest of our life. And to be fair, it's been the norm for the longest time. Nothing like this has ever happened probably in the last 100 years since the last pandemic. But because of it, it changed the way that we do things. Now, what does this have to do with the podcast? Well, it has affected me in a way that I did not think was possible. Why? Because ever since the tournaments were canceled and they went to online, I have actually fallen out of a certain game. Now, I've played this game a lot since it came out. I have given my praises to it, and I've showed my love to it, and quite honestly, I've stuck with it through thick and thin. But at this point, it's kind of hard to stick with something if they haven't done anything to fix it. I'm talking about Street Fighter V, Champion Edition. Nothing wrong with the game offline. Perfect, it runs great. All the characters are there, new modes, there's a tournament setting now, there's all these things added to it. The game now feels complete for the offline. You try to play this stuff online, and it is sorry. The SF5 online sucks. And this is after me actually getting a hardline landline connected to my PlayStation 4 or my PC. At some point, they did an update where it actually made everything super stuttery, and I did not know what they did. They messed up something. There was even a fan patch made to fix it, and it was working. Heck, there's a video on my channel where I played Snake Eyes online, and you know what happened? He was playing me on stream, and I even talked to him on stream. He bodied me. Not because he was better than me, but let's be real. He's super good. I'll give him that. He's really good. But if you look at the video, you can see that his end was super clear and my end was super laggy. I even did a comparison. So I'll leave a link in the description if you can see that. But honestly, that wasn't the point. The point was that the signal was so bad that I could not play, and not gonna lie, it just sucked all the will for me to play that game online. It really did. So I do not want to play that game online anymore. And no matter how much I try, I cannot stomach it anymore. It sucks. Now, I wasn't the only one suffering through this, because at the time, Fightcade was going through a revamp, and it was getting rid of the original Fightcade application that it had, which was kind of like, okay, so if you know what Fightcade is, it's a ROM emulator for arcade games that you can no longer purchase, but you can still play, on your computer. The cool thing about it is, since it's emulated and it was served with the right people, they managed to make servers for the games, which means you can actually connect to other people online. You can play Third Strike on an arcade board that was provided from Fightcade, and you could actually fight people online. So the only issue was that you had to find the ROMs in the original one. The second one came out, there was a lot of hiccups with it because there wasn't a lot of data on how to actually install it. And honestly, I was one of the ones that actually suffered through it too, because I could not figure it out. I had a hard time going through stuff, and honestly, we still couldn't see anybody offline due to the pandemic. So I didn't do that for a while. I was like, okay, can't play this, take it as an L. With more information coming out, then I'll eventually download it. So since then, I think that came out in 2020. So literally 2022, we're in February. Before that, actually, Chachi, an old friend of mine from Game Guys, messaged me and goes, "Hey man, you want to play 5K online?" And I'm like, bro, it goes like, I don't have it. You know, like I haven't really downloaded it because I can't figure it out. This dude went out of his way and actually sent me a video on somebody actually installing it. And basically that's all I needed, was just a how-to. Because I could follow along and actually do it, follow exactly how it was done. And not only that, get it to work. So after doing all of that, going through all that stuff, I finally got 5K. So I'm thinking, okay, this is cool. I can actually do this now. I can actually play these people online, play my friends online like this, and not worry about not having such a bad signal. I'm home right now, if you guys are wondering. That's why I'm hearing all this key jingling and door opening. I'm about to make me some, well, not make me, but reheat me some lunch. I'm gonna call this the lunch podcast. Oh, it feels so cool in here. Okay, so as I was saying, after all of that, going through all that stuff, my tune on certain games has changed. Not to say that they're still horrible. I still think that they're not good. But I did not give a chance for a lot of the games that are out there. Because, let's be real, I was stuck on Street Fighter V. I was doing my best to learn everything that I could for that game. And honestly, I know a lot. I can do a lot of stuff with it. It's fun. Offline. Now, ever since the tournament scene stopped in the offline environment, I wasn't as driven to go, I need to keep this up so I can go compete. It kind of brought me down to, oh wow, I can actually have fun again. Hey buddy, come here, Coco. Come here. Come on. I was really like, okay, well, I can't compete, I can't play this game online, so I'm not gonna try it. Literally put the game on hold. And because of me doing that, I actually had a new outlook on some games. And it's very refreshing to see that. I've been through so many iterations of 5, and I got through so much of it that I finally reached the point to where, you know what, I don't have to be keeping up with that game as much as I was before. I still enjoy playing it, and it has a special place in my heart because this was the first game that I actually legit got better at. Sure, Coco. That I was legit better at because I actually applied a lot of the stuff that I learned. Coco's doing his business, he's peeing. Oh, hey, Jedi. Oh, Jedi's in the dirt. That I actually legit learned because of, stuff that I was figuring out from Street Fighter 4. When 5 came out, I already was learning frame data and setups and actually how to do a lot of the things to actually, analyze the game, come up with game plans, and actually come up with strategies. Sure, Coco. And honestly, if it wasn't for 5, I would have been able to actually get, get enough courage to actually play Street Fighter Third Strike. And I say that because if you try going into Third Strike, it's a completely different game, of course, but it is really the game has gone on for so long that there's so much tech that's out there that you can't just go in there blindly. If you go in there blindly, you're going to get destroyed in every corner because you're going to be beat by things that, that you're not going to expect. And the fact that I managed to even say, you know what, let me play Third Strike, that would not come out of me years ago if the pandemic hadn't happened. You know? So, I'll say this. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I would not give Third Strike a chance. Because of the pandemic, I actually said, you know what? This new software is here. I can play arcade ROMs now and actually like have fun. Let me try it out. If I can try it out and actually like it, and then more power to me, I could actually enjoy the game more. And honestly, I was like, you know, I have the 30th anniversary collection on my Nintendo Switch, and I have the PlayStation 3 port of online edition as well. So let me practice some of these, because some of these have trials, some of it has like, you know, training settings that I can do, and actually I can legit learn how to play it and at least know some of the mechanics. There's so much information out there now, I could actually do something. Well, I was going through the PlayStation version of online edition, and what sucked was that I wasn't planning on making a video about the parries. I was just getting test footage, and as I was getting the footage, something crazy happened on there. One of the trials was supposed to be Perry Dudley's, I believe it was a super, if I'm not mistaken. His uppercut. I'm not sure. I have to look at it. Ended up being Gil's super. And Gil is only a boss character, not allowed in tournament, and they expect me to parry this thing. So I tried. I failed, of course. Backed out, did the other ones, and then if you saw the video where I was actually saying like I'm doing the parry trials, I stopped at Evo moment 37, which is coming soon. But because of that, it actually, you know, it kind of jarred me a little bit, because I'm like, wait a minute. I'm looking through YouTube and there's no video or footage of this happening to somebody else. So since then, that was the only time I had it on, my PS3 on, and I set up the raw footage, so if you want proof, I have proof. The thing is, I want to know if I do it next time, will that happen again? Because it could have been a glitch, it could have been a bug. I'm trying to remember if I've done it in the past. Like, because I remembered recording trials before for another video that I did a long time ago, when I was trying to make the argument of using the hitbox for Third Strike, and it wasn't allowed. And I had some of the trials, but the one that was missing was trial number 6. I didn't know if it happened to me then, here's the thing though, I'm so out of the loop with the Third Strike community that when it happened, I thought that was part of the game. I honestly thought it was part of the trials, until my good friend Brother Nero, aka Henry, was the one that told me about it. He's like, hey, this is not supposed to happen. And then another Third Strike player by the name of Jesse, he even told me about it. He's like, yeah, this is not supposed to happen. So I'm at a weird position where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try. If I could get it to trigger again, I could actually, you know, I could be the first one on YouTube to actually have this footage. I don't know. It might be button check worthy. I don't know. But that said, I want to at least see if I can get that to happen again. But that's that, right? So I have all of these other tools now. When I say tools, I mean the games. of Third Strike being on my Switch, Third Strike being on my PS4, Third Strike being on my PS3, Third Strike now being on my PC again because of Fightcade. I'm like, why do I keep coming back to Third Strike? Is there something that keeps bringing me back? And I remember trying to play this game, and it's hard. Like it's very hard, especially you don't have, if you don't have any fighting sense. The good thing is with Street Fighter V, it helps you kind of like get used to a control setup and actually kind of gives you an idea of what you need to do when you get like punish. Like for example, Street Fighter V has touch counters, slows everything down, and then you could do like a huge punish afterwards. Huge hit confirm, I should say. It rewards you for doing punishes on people that do unsafe moves. Third Strike kind of does that with like a counter. The only thing is that it happens very fast. But because of that, when you play 5, you get accustomed to where you're like, you know what, I want to do a very hard punish for something that this character did unsafely. Street Fighter 4, I didn't do that. I just did throws after someone did something stupid. And people get mad. Third Strike, I'm like, you know what? I'm working on it, but I'm doing hits afterwards. I'm actually trying to do combos and I'm trying to do supers to punish super hard now on their mistakes. And I keep doing, okay, I keep going and I keep doing this thing and alright, I'm getting used to the controls, and then all of a sudden I cannot hit somebody out of the air because they have the air parry. Back then, a while back, I played Jesse online and he bodied me on stream 10-0. He kept hitting me with setups that I had no idea how to do. And now that I have more of a better understanding, I found out how much of a scumbag he is. Because he's hitting me with moves that you really can't do anything about it because he kind of pops you up, and as you're falling, you can parry, but if you don't know that, you're going to get hit because you can't block in the air. It's like kind of like a juggle. He gives you in a juggle state and you can actually continue with the super art. And that's what sucks. You can't do nothing about it until I find out that you can do something about it. So when he did that, I'm not going to lie, I got discouraged. I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to play this game. Why should I play? I'm sticking to 5. All in all, it ended up being to where, you know what, let me learn the parries. At least that. So I learned the parries again, the timing, and for some reason, it clicked this time. Actually, like, you know what, I need to start doing these in matches. Because I don't do parries in matches. If you find old footage of me, you'll suddenly see me do parries because I'm like, you know what, I just don't know the timing and it's a hard guess. But then how can you have me attack somebody and then you parry my move? I can't figure this stuff out. So it was very frustrating. So I had to think about it in the sense where I'm like, you know what, if it happens, it happens. Because at this point, the people playing this game, they're going to parry. Or try their best to parry. And, like, you know what? I need to start doing this. So, I literally started playing on the Switch Online, which was very laggy, of course, the internet connection. Because it's literally a Wi-Fi signal. But the match was decent enough for me to actually get footage on there. And I managed to parry a wake up Shoryuken. And I'm like, okay. And then later, as I got Fight Kid up and running, I actually parry Air Tatsu. And I'm doing actually all these parries now, and it actually feels different. Learning the parry mechanic makes the game more playable, because it makes your opponent look less scary. And I mean that because if you don't know how to parry and they're parrying all your attacks, you feel like you're just fighting a wall and the wall's hitting back at you, and you cannot do anything about it. It sucks. But because of you knowing parries, you parry something that they throw out, they're the ones in the vulnerable state. Now it's your turn to attack. Now you can make it hurt. And it's kind of refreshing to kind of like figure that out. The cool thing about it for me is that I didn't get to ask any help for this. Like I didn't ask help from, like I said, from Jesse or Henry. Like I'm actually learning this on my own with the tech that I have. If I'm trying to learn a parry timing for a certain super or a move on the Switch, I could just set it to auto parry on my opponent, do it, and then actually do the move. Because I didn't know this, but apparently a lot of characters have different parry timings. And I mean parry timings as in the amount of parries you have to do in the move. I didn't know that. So, like I'm playing Hugo. I think Hugo may have to do one extra parry. But other than that, I'm actually doing what I can to actually learn this stuff. So I'm finding out how many parries are supposed to be in the move, in the super, certain setups, the red parry, because I want to actually get better with those. And it's fun. It's fun. It's even more fun now. Like, it was crazy is that a lot of people got to play Third Strike in the arcade and had to learn from like literally hours and hours and trips to the mall or to the laundromat to play this game, wasting thousands of quarters. Or in my case, I don't have to do that because I have the game already. I can put in training mode, and I actually can practice on the go or practice from at home, and it's fun. The game is actually fun now. It's not. It's not. I probably would never enter a tournament because the scene here is not really. I don't want to say good, but there's a lot of strong players here that you kind of like. They're way out of your league. But I could at least say that I'm enjoying my time with the game. It took a while, and I'll admit it. It's not bad. It's just different from what I'm accustomed to. Because of the COVID thing happening, all of this stuff changed, and it brought me back down to where, like, you know what? It's not about tournaments. It's not about how well you place. It turned a lot of the gamers to remember what the games were supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. And honestly, I'm having fun with the game. Would I ever compete in another Third Strike tournament? I don't know. Only time would tell. Like I said, I only recently went to a tournament in Austin at the Texas Gaming Lounge. Honestly, back in October for Street Fighter 2. And it was because my brother invited me to that. And as fun as that was, that didn't really get me to be like, oh man, I gotta go to tournaments again. I missed it. I missed it a lot. But it wasn't about the games, actually. It was more about the people being there. I missed the people because I actually got to see some more friends over there. And not only that, I got invited to go to the Super Turbo events at Game of Dreams on Fridays, whenever they do it. Unfortunately, I couldn't go last time because I got busy. But the fact that they actually want me to go over there now because of Super Turbo, it's a cool feeling. They're trying to get things back together and they're trying to run things, back the way it was. It's a good drive for me. It's a good distance. But there's things that I need to take care of. But I don't even play Super Turbo. I play it casually. And when Third starts around, I'm like, you know what? I'll play this one. I'll be okay with it. I'm not going to lie. Learning some of the things is fun. As of late, I've been playing people online, and they're mostly like if you play people that are in the wild, meaning like just random people on Fightcade, you kind of remember that how toxic Third Strike community is. Not saying the one in Houston, I'm talking about like in general, because there are people that are just assholes, and I'll say it, okay? And I'm just trying to have fun. I'm trying to play the game. And honestly, because of that, me knowing the parries now kind of made everything a little bit more even. Now it's a matter of how well can I execute my moves and how well can I study my opponent and open up his weaknesses. That's all it is now. That's what it turned into. I jumped over the biggest barrier that I had in front of me because I was like afraid of what would happen if they keep parrying my moves. Now I'm no longer afraid of, all right, after you parry this, I'm ready for what you're going to do. Because you can only do so much, right? And that being said, my love for fighting games has changed to something different now. I'm no longer the competitor that I once was. It takes time. A lot of people will tell you that. I just want to play to enjoy myself now. So this is a big turning point in my fighting game career because, let's be real, there's not a lot of tournaments going on right now. And honestly, if it wasn't for that, then I probably wouldn't be able to actually open my eyes and look at the game in a different light. Excuse me, I'm chewing my food. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I know this kind of seems a little random, but honestly, that's what I've been feeling. And shout outs to Chachi for giving me the video on how to actually install it. We're gonna have matches soon, my friend. To Nero, to my brother Nero, he's actually been streaming a lot of different games online, including Third Strike, and it's enjoyable to watch him play online. And also for the ones that actually respond back to my post on Facebook. Because, like I said, like the whole trial video debacle, like I didn't know this wasn't a thing. And the fact that people are actually chiming in and actually telling me like, no, actually this is what's going on and which is what you need to do, actually helps me out a lot to actually find out what is the norm of certain things. Of course, they don't play Online Edition anymore, but they've played it in the past. But the fact that I actually have an exploit that I could actually, show off, I could actually, possibly be the first one to actually get it cleared, and I'll have the only one in my account to actually have that parry registered as a trial. So this is kind of exciting. But that's if I can get it to happen again. I didn't try it again since that happened because it's literally not. It hasn't happened before. So, but I digress. That's basically what I wanted to talk about. The state of the tournament because of what's going on and what its effect that has done to me. And it made me feel more complete. I get to have fun now. Of course, the one thing that I miss mostly are my friends, which hopefully I get to see them again soon. But in the meantime, we can still save one another on Fightcade at least. Alright guys, I'll catch y'all later. I have to finish my food now because I gotta, have to go back to work soon. But this was a quick little podcast of Burning the Salt. Thank you again guys for listening. Hopefully we get to do more of these things later. I have more time now. I'm trying to do things during my lunch break so I can kind of like make it like a hashtag, lunch match moment. But thank you again, guys, for listening, or in this case, watching. Please take care of yourselves, and remember, keep on fighting, fighters. Later.